Hi everyone, welcome to another Foodie Friday. Today we're making Pepian. So I have all my ingredients in front of me. I have diced potatoes, quartered onions, I have squash cubed, cornstarch, chicken broth, and then I have tomatoes, and I have a bunch of spices including peppercorns, garlic cloves, coriander seeds, allspice, chili flakes, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, oregano, and then I have some oil as well. So to get this going, we're going to take our chicken, going to open it up, and then we're going to put it in boiling water, and we're going to boil that until it's cooked for about 15 minutes. So I'm using chicken breasts, so we're just going to pull them right on out. And then once we have a pan of water boiling, just put them in carefully, and then just set your timer for about 15 minutes. You're also going to add your onions to it and let those boil as well. And also put in a little bit of salt. So while your chicken is cooking, we're going to roast the cinnamon stick, the half of it, the allspice berries, cloves, peppercorns, and coriander seeds. And we're just gonna occasionally mix those up until they're fragrant. And that shouldn't take long, you'll know when it happens. So once those are done, you're going to set aside and put those in a bowl. And then you're going to put in your chilies, your pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and oregano. And then you're going to toast those at medium heat until the sesame seeds turn golden brown. And then just make sure that you occasionally stir that. Once you're done with that, you're going to add them to the other spices you've already cooked. If you have a grinder, put them in there and grind them to a powder. I don't. I actually have an old-fashioned mortar and pestle, so I just put them in there and I'm hand grinding them into like a powder consistency. And then when you're done with that, you're just going to set those aside for now. Next, we're gonna put our oil in the frying pan, and you're gonna turn that up to about medium, maybe medium high. You're going to add your onions and the whole tomatoes and the garlic, and you're gonna let those fry until the onions are fully cooked, and you'll know that because once they start really getting cooked, the skins will split. So again, just make sure that you occasionally stir those up. Make sure you turn the tomatoes so that all the sides get cooked pretty evenly.
Now, while that's cooking, I actually like to go ahead and shred my chicken up. It just makes it easier for later on. You won't have to pull your chicken pieces out of the stew to shred them up. Even if you do it with forks, it's still a little bit messy, so I like to do that ahead of time. So if you want to, go ahead and just really cut up your chicken pieces into small chunks.
Now, once that's done, you're going to pull out your tomatoes, set them aside. You might want to let these cool before you start pulling the skin off, as they're very hot. I don't like to do that because I don't care if I really get burned. So next, we're going to pull the skins off the tomatoes. You can use either a sharp small knife and help these skin that's already cracked. You can just use that as a guide and just slowly skin it off, or you can use your fingers. The onions, you're going to just go ahead and put into your blender and set that aside for now. You can also go ahead and add your spice mix at this time. If you don't have a very large blender, I would suggest putting half and half. You're going to want to do 2 batches because my blender wasn't big enough. So now you can see I'm just going ahead and gently pulling the tomato skins off. Like I said, you can use a knife or you can use your fingers, whatever way is easiest. Once you have them peeled, you're going to want to chop them into small pieces and then add them to your blender. If you're doing 2 batches, do half, set aside the other half. Once you're done, you're going to add the chicken stock.
And then you're going to blend it until it's a nice smooth puree. Once you're done, you're going to pour it into a pot. The recipe calls to mix 2 tablespoons of chicken stock with corn flour and stir it in. Mine was already thick enough, I didn't need it. So if you added a little bit less chicken broth to your puree mixture, then you can just omit that. So now I'm just going to turn on the stove to high, and I'm going to let that come to a boil. And then we're going to add the squash, chicken, and potatoes. I like to keep my potatoes in cold water until I'm ready to add them. It stops them from browning. So if you do keep yours in cold water as well, just go ahead, drain them in the sink, and then you can add your potatoes to your mixture. And then you're gonna bring that back to a boil, and then lower the heat and just let it simmer for about 30 minutes or until the vegetables are done. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is the Guatemalan Pepian, and stop in next week for another recipe.